Arlington Antebellum Home and Gardens, the silent witness of Birmingham's beginning. Imagine walking through a grand Greek Revival mansion built by enslaved hands almost 180 years ago. Yet hidden beneath its elegant architecture is a story of survival, transformation, and untouched secrets rarely told. Arlington, Birmingham's only antebellum mansion, stands not just as a relic of antebellum times, but as a silent witness to the city's birth and the everyday lives of those who built and sustained it. Located in the historic community of Ileton, which eventually became part of Birmingham, Alabama, Arlington Antebellum Home and Gardens is a remarkable landmark. This two-story mansion, surrounded by 6 acres of lush gardens, offers one of the few remaining glimpses into Alabama's antebellum era. Its striking Greek Revival architecture, paired with authentic period furnishings and detailed grounds, creates an immersive historical environment. But what truly makes Arlington stand out is not just its age or style. It is the layered history embedded in its walls and grounds that shaped the early development of Birmingham and preserved the narratives of different communities and lives connected to the estate. History of Arlington Antebellum Home and Gardens. Arlington's story begins in the early 19th century after Alabama joined the Union. In 1822, Stephen Hall purchased 475 acres in the Jefferson County area of Ileton and built a 2-story residence. A pivotal moment came in 1842 when William Swearingen Mudd, a young lawyer and one of the founders of Birmingham, acquired the estate at public auction. The original house, known as The Grove, was expanded under Mudd's ownership between 1845 and 1850 into a grand Greek Revival mansion, featuring 8 large rooms arranged in a balanced 4/4 layout. The construction heavily relied on the labour of enslaved people, whose skilled craftsmanship and toil physically created the estate. The mansion's design exemplifies antebellum textbook Greek Revival style. A shallow hipped roof extending over a heightened front gallery supported by 6 Doric columns, a hallmark of prestige and classical influence. 4 brick chimneys allowed for hearths in each room, and the intricate entry doorway was inspired by architect Asher Benjamin's designs, showcasing the mouldings and panelling popular in mid-19th century Southern architecture. Over time, Arlington not only served as the family home to Mudd, his wife Florence Earle, and their 10 children, but also stood as a local symbol of prosperity and social hierarchy. During the Civil War, Arlington narrowly escaped destruction when Union General James Wilson led over 13,000 cavalrymen into Ileton in 1865. He used Arlington as his headquarters. The general's respect for Circuit Court Judge Mudd, a fellow Mason, spared the mansion, although other Confederate facilities in the region were not so lucky. Post-war, the house continued as a family residence until the early 20th century, witnessing the transition from Ileton to being incorporated into the growing city of Birmingham. Its survival makes Arlington one of the only remaining structures from Ileton's antebellum past, anchoring a deeply urbanized area to its 19th century roots. Unique features or hidden aspects. At first glance, Arlington looks like a stately and traditional Southern mansion, but its hidden complexities offer deeper insight into the era and the lives it touched. For example, The mansion may appear symmetrical and imposing, but its original two-story structure, expanded in stages, reveals adaptive reuses of spaces and materials. Part of the western side of the mansion may incorporate the earlier house built by Hall, creating a layered architectural patchwork. One surprisingly overlooked feature is the role enslaved labour played, not just in building, but maintaining this estate. Beyond the visible grandeur, Arlington's grounds and outbuildings, now largely vanished, were once the sites of intense labour and daily life by enslaved workers, who operated gardens, kitchens, and other service functions supporting the household. This reality is physically manifested in the robust brick chimneys and woodwork crafted by those skilled hands, but often left unmentioned. Moreover, Arlington's use as Union General Wilson's headquarters opens a rarely discussed chapter. The house was not just spared, but strategically important during Wilson's raid, serving as a command centre for raids that led to widespread destruction elsewhere. Hidden within its historical narrative is also its early photographic documentation by the Historic American Building Survey in 1937, preserving original elements that help us understand the mid-20th century preservation ethos that saved Arlington for future generations. Even the gardens themselves hold secrets. The long piazza, an expansive porch, served as more than an aesthetic feature. It functioned as a cooling, shaded space essential to southern life. The outdoors were an extension of the home's livable space, used for socializing, work, and retreat from the southern heat. Walkways and less visible paths around the gardens hint at routes used by workers and family alike, revealing layers of interaction between different social groups within the property. Present-day situation. Today, Arlington Antebellum Home and Gardens stands exquisitely preserved, managed by the City of Birmingham alongside the Arlington Historical Association, who have dedicated decades to maintaining its authenticity. Visitors arrive to find a pristine white frame mansion, with its original 6 Doric columns and 4 chimneys rising proudly. The grounds blooming with native hardwoods and carefully tended landscapes. The house now operates as a museum, offering rich exhibitions of 19th century life, including artifacts, period furnishings, photographs, and documents that tell stories from multiple perspectives: enslaved workers, the Mudd family, Union soldiers, and early Birmingham citizens. The mansion's preservation is a testament to community efforts starting in the 1950s, when concerned citizens raised funds to prevent Arlington's demolition, ensuring that this historical jewel would be accessible for education and appreciation. Tourists wander through the spacious halls and shaded piazza, imagining the bustle of a thriving household and the quiet resilience of those behind the scenes. Educational programs highlight Arlington's architectural beauty, as well as the complex human histories it holds. Careful restoration continues to protect and reveal details, from the original doorways to supple Greek Revival mouldings, that make Arlington not just a house, but an experience connecting the past to the present. Arlington Antebellum Home and Gardens is more than a preserved mansion. It is a living tapestry of human endurance, design ingenuity, and historical preservation. As the sunlight filters through its tall columns and the gardens whisper with a century and a half of stories, this house invites reflection on how the past shapes every stone and leaf. Imagine stepping softly among these historic halls, feeling the layers of time folded into every corner, an enduring legacy quietly still standing in the heart of Alabama. This gentle witness to history remains open, waiting for those who wish to listen to the stories it has carefully safeguarded for generations. Thank you for watching. See you in the next documentary.